right, hi. I'm Jay Rohr with Film Obsessive. We're here with Sven Temmel, the upcoming flick High Rollers. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So, just to start off with, to acquaint our audience, this is a sequel to a movie called Cash Out, correct?
Yeah, so this is the second part to Cash Out 1, which came out last year, and now it's Cash Out 2, High Rollers.
So this is sort of like an action thriller heist movie. And what would you like to say about the plot to help people get an idea of the film?
Yeah, I mean it's just a fun, wild ride. I mean, it's very different from the first one. And the character that I play comes back in a very different way, in a way that you wouldn't expect. And he's part of the gang now, let's put it that way. And they have to do things in order for John to get his woman back, and things happen along the way. And I help them in order to achieve, getting her back, almost like the first one, but in a very different way.
Yeah, yeah, it's always tricky to explain a film like this because of the fact like you don't want to spoil anything because
Yeah.
there's twists and turns and there's thrills aplenty. So if I may ask one question though, when you were filming Cash Out, the precursor to this one, did you know that there was going to be a sequel?
No. That was,
No.
we all shot it. We all got along so well, John and the rest of the gang. We had so much shooting it, and it came up, I think maybe a few months down the road, they called and said that, they've seen the edit and they saw how much fun everyone had together, and John would be really interested in sort of doing a sequel to this movie. And I think everyone at the same time said, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's sign up. And everybody was on board. Everybody came back. Everybody was eager and ready to shoot the sequel because, we really did have a fun time shooting the first one. And we all got along so well that it really wasn't a hard decision just to say yes.
It's a fantastic location where you're shooting. You're over in the Gulf Coast around like Mississippi, correct?
Yeah,
Uh,
we shot it in Biloxi, Mississippi. We had great weather. It was nice and sunny, humid, muggy, but there's worse things. It was a fun shoot, great location. We had the casino at our disposal. Some really, really interesting um set locations for the end shot as well. So, it offered a lot of different looks that we needed for the movie, all in a small radius.
like especially like the was it the Scarlet Casino, I think is where you filmed, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
the Scarlet Pearl is where we shot all the
Scarlet
casino
Pearl.
stuff.
What was that? What was that like having to film inside of like an active casino? Because I'm sure they didn't want to stop because those things are like a license to print money, is the old saying.
No, it's true. I mean, they were nice that they opened their doors. Obviously, we had a lot of restrictions and a lot of things we could and couldn't do. You can imagine the security that goes on behind the scenes of a casino, but it was interesting to be able to shoot in a functioning live operating casino. On the other hand, it was tough not to put a couple of bucks into the slot machines while we were there.
Let's talk about yourself for a moment, if we may. You have a pretty impressive resume as it's building up. Like your career is on a great trajectory. And you've studied at a lot of great places. Like the I'm looking at my notes here.
Yeah.
The Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute. You've taken some stuff from the Groundlings Theater in Hollywood, and you've studied Shakespeare at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. Like how does all that come together like when you're coming at a role, like does it give you a lot of like diversified perspectives, or have you amalgamated all that teaching into like your own personal like way of approaching a
I
part?
think I think the best way to explain it is sort of, and an acting teacher told me this a long time ago. It's sort of like all these different acting schools just give you certain tools. One school will give you a hammer and a wrench, the other one will give you a screwdriver and nuts and bolts. The other one will give you this, and you take all those tools and you put it in your toolbox and your acting toolbox, And then you pick from the various ones when you get a job or you're breaking down a character and you see what works for which character at what point in time. And so it's nice to have a variety of different tools at my disposal because, every character is approached from a different aspect. You're playing somebody that's based on a true person, a real character, that's a true story. You're going to approach it from a different perspective than if you were playing a fictitious character like the one in Cash Out 2. So it just depends on what you play and what you need. So it's nice to have those different tools and to have been able to study at some of these prestigious schools and under some great teachers that have given me some really valuable knowledge along the way. And obviously there's always room to grow and learn something new. So I'm always open and continue and learned a lot from some of these legends that I've worked with. I think the best way to learn is on hands-on, and I've had that opportunity and I've had that chance. So being able to learn from, John Travolta and the various other greats that I've worked with has been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, you crossed paths with a lot of like easily recognizable individuals over the course of your career. Is it are you finally getting to a point where you're just like, oh, we're all movie stars on a job, or are you like still occasionally like wow, I get to be in a movie with John Travolta or Gerard Butler or so on and so forth, you know?
It's definitely still the latter of like, wow, I get to work with John Travolta. I get to work with Gerard Butler. I don't think that will ever go away. I'll make sure to keep that for the rest of my life because these people have had a career in what I'm working my way up to do, and I look up to them and I appreciate what they do. On the other hand, when you get to set and you're working with these people, you're on an even playing field. You're all in the same boat. You're all trying to do the same thing. You're all there to act and to make the best film possible. So it's a little combination of both. But at first it definitely is like, holy shit, I get to work with this person.
Um, so as I said before, like you weren't aware that there was going to be a sequel. I'm just curious, without giving anything away, there was something towards the end of this movie. Is there a possibility there might be a follow-up to this one? Because I personally saw an opening at the end of the film.
I mean, I think that there is definitely a chance that it'll happen. I think everybody's hoping for it. And if they do decide to do a third one, I'm up for it. I'm game. Great group of people, and I'd love to work with them again. So hopefully it is. People see the second one and it's a success and people like it, then I'm sure they'll do a third one.
Awesome. But as for yourself, what have you got going on in the future?
No, I'm always working. I'm always looking for the next thing. I shot a pilot at the end of last year with a very famous director and actor, and hopefully that gets picked up in this year and shoot that. And as soon as I get to say a little bit more about it, I will. As far as now, though, I can't say too much, but there's always something going on, always working on something, always striving to play another character and move my career forward.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, and hopefully I'll see you in the future.
Indeed. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.